So when we first started Dragons, we really didn't know what to expect. We started it with 15 or 16 young boys and families, and we had a phenomenal first year. I think we went 15-0 in our first ever year of Dragons. And from there, families wanted more. We had brothers that wanted to play. So the Dragons program naturally grew with more kids playing in Los Angeles, but with us bringing more coaches on board and coaches who had experience in college, it really rounded out who the Dragons coaching staff was really becoming.
I believe Fire Lacrosse has a very large mission in changing the way that people see club sports. Specifically this idea that sports programs are either two dichotomous ideologies in that they are very intense or they are simply for fun. And what I think Fire does an incredibly good job at is combining both of those to ensure that our girls are succeeding as best as they possibly can as players and as people.
What motivates me to coach the most is just seeing the kids' faces when they learn something that they didn't know before or something that I can teach them. I remember growing up and just wanting to learn everything that I can from my coaches, and now being in this role, wanting to do that and give the same thing that I received when I was a kid to these kids is such an incredible feeling.
For me, the real motivation comes from the group of kids that I've developed relationships with over the past 3 years. I grew up in an area where lacrosse was the main sport, and it's fun to watch these kids grow from 6th graders to now 9th graders, the group I started with, and really see that drive and see that intensity and love they have for the game of lacrosse.
The main thing that makes our program a family and a community is the love that each coach and each player has for each other. When you come to our field, you'll notice coaches high-fiving, high energy, and kids interacting with coaches in a different way than any other program I've been a part of.
What makes us a community or family, I think it just starts from the top. Like, all of our coaches are really close, and it has trickled down to the teams and has trickled down from team to team. It not only are our teams close together if you're on the same team as someone else, but our younger girls look up to our older girls, and the older girls even know like a lot of the younger girls' names and know who they are just from having practices on the same field and being around each other constantly. And I think that what that does is it allows us to create this big network of people that's fully supportive of one another, and it shows when we go away to trips or when we're like posting on our Instagram and people are like hearting and like commenting like, way to go middle schoolers, or like can't wait to watch the high schoolers on their East Coast trip. Like, everyone is rooting for each other no matter what, and I think that that's a really cool quality to have as a club, because if everyone is connected, you always have this like cool group of people or a network that you can fall back on as you continue to like grow older, and even if when you graduate from the Fire program, you'll still have a group of people that you can rely on and trust in.
That was one thing that I definitely noticed when I first started coaching, is that how close everyone is, and that's just, I think, with how the program is shaped and like just the main goal and mission of the program.
For me, that's probably my main draw of the Dragons is the relationships we build as a staff amongst each other and as a staff with our players. It's funny because I'll see a lot of these guys playing high school now that I started with, whether it's Nick, whether it's Owen, and I'll talk to them still. I'll watch their games and I'll talk to them like I'm a coach, but at the same time, I think it's way more rewarding for me to see their development, see the work they put in, see the grind, and see the passion, like I just talked about, that they really have for this game, and grow into young men, and then hopefully be able to reach that top level of college.
What makes our Fire family so strong is the support we give one another, whether that's going to someone's bat mitzvah or someone's quinceañera, or just being able to be a resource for our players. And parents also give a great sense of community on the sideline, at tournaments. Everyone is just totally 100% invested in this club.
When you talk about relationship, it's kind of a family thing. It's a family starting with the coach, to the parents, with the kids. Everyone's involved. It's a community family. We try to reach out to new kids. I traditionally teach some of the newer kids, developing kids, and it's constantly growing, so we try to reach out. And by growing the family, it starts with the coaches, and it starts with the leadership through the Dragons. We instill values. It's a really close mentorship. We are out here to get work done, but we're also out here to have a good time. So it's what I would say is mentorship focused is how I describe it.
Player-coach relationship is very close-knit. We get to know our players very well, and they get to know us very well too. And just being on the field with them, joking around with them, having fun is such a great time for, you know, not only the players but for the coaches as well. And then, you know, we kind of have to juggle that coach-friend mentality throughout the year, and it's fun, you know, getting on them a little bit from time to time during practice, but when practice is over, it's, you know, it's all laughs, it's all fun, and they can joke around with us and talk about, you know, what's going on at school or what's going on outside of school, and you know, always feel like they can come to us with any problem or any issue they have, whether it's lacrosse related or not.
Being a role model on the field is extremely important, always making sure you're doing the right thing in front of the kids. But also what's super important is maintaining that friendship and support off the field. I think it has an immediate effect to that player and teammates and coaches, everybody around on the field. And, you know, always being there to support whatever that kid needs. If the parent can't be there for the kid, you know, that's something that we can do, and we can step in and be there for them. It's super important just for them to always have that support and always knowing that that support's there no matter what.
So I've really only coached like the middle school girls out here, and I remember myself in middle school and how the girls are now, and it's really like they're at a big point in their life where they're starting to figure out who they are. So I think just like trying each practice to instill confidence in them, and just also getting to know them as a person off the field has been really big for me, because I remember myself as a player, and having a coach do that for me was really important, that just having that connection.
My proudest moment as a Dragons coach would be introducing the sport to a certain player about 18 months ago, bringing him into Dragons and watching him flourish as a lacrosse player. But not only that, the proudest part about it for me is watching him build new friendships and relationships with his teammates, coaches, even parents of his friends, and really seeing him excel off the field as well has been my proudest moment.
Proudest accomplishment is the kids, like the players. Watching them, like some we've had, you know, since they've been in second grade, and watching them evolve into fifth graders now is such a cool feeling. Like seeing them starting to understand the game and starting to get like the lax bug, and really wanting to like practice their wall ball and do different things outside of practice. And like on top of that, like the kids and then the relationships I get to build with each of them. I feel like right now, like I can think about every single kid that's been through our program and feel like I have some sort of connection to them, and that makes me really proud, because to be able to like have that type of relationship with each player, I feel like is really special.
My proudest accomplishment would have to be my 6th, 7th grade green team last summer. Just to watch them develop and really we had a lot to work on with that team, but to see their excitement and not letting a few losses bring them down was probably one of my prouder moments I've ever had as a coach.
I think one of the proudest accomplishments I've had as a coach is in one specific tournament this summer. I had noticed that a kid had just kind of a flat face looking expression, and I simply went up to her and asked what was wrong, and she just kind of put her hands in her face and and was like, I'm playing so bad. And I was just like, I grabbed her and I just said, look at me. You are a great lacrosse player. I want you to go in and focus on the little things that are in front of you and do them well, whether it's just picking up a ground ball or cradling. Focus on the very little things and just do it well. Take one moment at a time. And she was able to then go in. I had her do a couple breaths, and she went in and totally shifted the pace that she was playing. And it was really incredible to see, because I definitely struggled with the mental game and was very hard on myself as a player. And so as a coach, to be able to get in the middle of that time and be able to change her performance was really impactful, and something that I'm definitely very proud of.
My most memorable moment would be last summer taking our travel teams to Denver, specifically the 2023 team, the 8th graders at the time, and watching them connect and bond so quickly with the guest players we had from Denver was just awesome. They connected right away. We had a fantastic tournament, and those guest players ended up actually flying to California for a tournament a few weeks later because the boys had created such a good bond.
My proudest moment with Fire would also be when we won the tournament at Santa Barbara. We came back from a really big gap, and at the very end we had an 8-meter to win the game, and Mally McGowan scored, and that amount of pressure and at such a key moment of the game was just, I was so proud of her, and I was so proud of the entire team.
Memorable moment is hard because there's a lot of them. But the way I'd see it is, what keeps me coming out here is when I see the kids grow. You'll see the kids start in 4th grade, and you'll continue with the Dragons all the way through high school. And they start at about 3 feet tall, and then by the time they leave, they're taller than you are. But with that, you're watching them grow, watching them mature into young men. So the proudest moment is watching my kids leave the youth program and transition to high school and hear about their success, how it started with the youth. So.
I don't know if I have one specific moment. I just think seeing how much the kids have progressed and now watching them play in high school, I think, I would say the box championship last year was probably my proudest moment, just because it was the most recent victory we had, especially for the kids on my team, and just seeing the progression from when I started a few years ago till now was great.
I was driving back from Santa Barbara, and it was like on PCH, and the ocean was there, and it was sunny, and I had like music going, and I just started like crying, like happy tears, because it was like the first time since I had moved out here where I found, like, I realized that this was right where I need to be, and that was because of the lacrosse program and just like the girls and the tournament and stuff.
So my most memorable moment is actually different. It was the Laps for Lax last year, and that alone should prove to anyone why they should be a part of the Dragons. Seeing hundreds of people come together for a good cause to try and help our players, to try and grow this sport in the West Coast, and do it on their own time, not a set practice time, and to have all the parents involved, it really brought that community and family feel to the whole organization.